Hi guys. Well, sorry it's been taking me a while to do a video. I've kind of been trying to think of topics to do. I didn't want to just jump into my Wrestlemania card. And I started really thinking about Wrestlemania. Um, and quite frankly, you know me, if you've watched some of my recent videos, you would have seen what I'm hoping for Daniel Bryan. I really enjoyed the last 20 minutes of Raw. I know I've seen other reviews and how they really rated the whole show. For me, I think what made the show was the last 20 minutes. And it just showed you how over Daniel Bryan is. And it's a shame because, I've heard reports about Daniel Bryan being concussed and how that, concussions, particularly with WWE's wellness policy, um, can often keep you out for a month or so. And Royal Rumble is next weekend. In fact, sorry, it's this Sunday. So I'm really hoping that it's like a minor concussion or something and can ride it out and be in Royal Rumble. Um, I personally hope that that they that they go ahead and they make a Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar match. Hopefully for the WWE title. Hear me out. I think that Brock Lesnar. I I've always liked Brock Lesnar. I really do. I've always liked him. I've always liked him since the moment he came in. Um, I thought he made a big impact. I can completely understand and agree why WWE put a rocket up his ass when he first came in 02. He made a massive impact. Has excelled in everything that he does. Went into UFC, conquered that, came back, has been kicking ass. You buy him as an ass kicker. There's certain motherfuckers that you just think, oh, fuck off. And you just look at them and you think, I can whoop your ass. Like, I'm sorry. I know the internet loves him. And I don't particularly hate him. I don't particularly love him. But fucking CM Punk. You don't necessarily buy him. You buy him as a capable wrestler. You buy him as someone who can realistically, probably, eventually kick your ass. And then there's certain times, particularly when he's playing the heel, you just think, you might kick my ass eventually, but I will. I Even if it's for 10 seconds, I'll make sure I whoop your ass. You know, you know, look how big I am. I'll give fucking CM Punk a fight. You know what I mean? I don't care what kind of martial arts he knows. Even if he eventually whoops my ass, I will make sure that there'll be that 10-second period where I spear him through something. No martial art is saving you from me spearing the fuck out of you. So, and I think with Brock, you kind of buy him as a legit, like someone that will whoop your ass. Someone that you don't want to fuck with. And for me, I think with Triple H kind of bringing Brock back, that whole kind of, you know, you're my guy, I'm bringing you back in type of thing. And I just think Brock Lesnar would represent a good kind of final large barrier type of story for Daniel Bryan. I think you owe it to the fans to finish the story that you started with Daniel Bryan last summer at SummerSlam, and with Daniel Bryan kind of trying to overcome obstacle after obstacle after obstacle to get to this WWE title. I think we almost owe it to the fans to finish that story, to give him his big moment, to say to Daniel Bryan, you know what, you've done really well over the past 18 months. Here's your well done. Here's your WrestleMania moment. Here, we're going to give you what a lot of people don't get a chance to get, winning the WWE title at the biggest stage of them all. He deserves that moment. Uh, and and I think they owe it to us as fans to kind of to finish the story that they started. And I think if you're going to have Brock win the title and have maybe I think it's a 6-week period between Elimination Chamber and Wrestlemania, I think he represents the perfect final barrier for Daniel Bryan to overcome. The massive wall, if you like, between Brock Lesnar, the wall, Brock Lesnar, and the WWE title. And Daniel Bryan has overcome obstacle after obstacle, whether it's Randy Orton, or whether it's The Shield, whether it's Brock Lesnar, Triple H, whatever. And then he finally gets that chance to get the WWE title. Because to be honest with you, when you really think about it, Daniel Bryan, given all of his obstacles, is in a position where he could potentially fight anybody at WrestleMania. Anybody, and it would make sense. You know, for me, I personally would like him to go against Brock Lesnar. But you can make an argument that he could go against Randy Orton, should Orton retain until WrestleMania. You can make an argument and say he'll go against John Cena. John Cena did say once he won the title, he would give Daniel Bryan a shot. That would be a perfect accommodation, as long as John Cena doesn't get his win back at WrestleMania. I've got to make that clear. There were rumours, strong rumours going around that Undertaker actually requested to work with Daniel Bryan. If anyone who doesn't know, Undertaker on a yearly basis, who wrestles mainly once a year at WrestleMania, he tends to ask for his opponent. Like last year, he requested to work with CM Punk, worked with CM Punk, and he tends to choose his opponents these days. So apparently he chose to work with Daniel Bryan. WWE are quite reluctant about that idea because, as over as Daniel Bryan is, Undertaker as a face might not necessarily work in that match, and I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. So yeah, I mean, but you could either tell a good story with that, even though it's quite a new story. You could tell a good story with that potentially. You could potentially have him going against Kane. You could. I hope not, because I think that would be a come down for him. But in terms of telling an 18-month story and Kane being part of like the authority, you could potentially have him go down the Kane route. I think you would need to have him build. I think you would need to have them build Kane up for a bit first. And it seems to be building a Kane CM Punk feud. If Kane was to go over CM Punk and start to build Kane up a little bit, I think that could be a viable option. You could have Daniel Bryan going against Bray Wyatt. It's not something I would particularly like to see at WrestleMania, but you could go down that route. You could potentially have Daniel Bryan going against Triple H. I'll tell you what, if that Brock Lesnar match could have happened, I would love to see that Triple H Daniel Bryan match. I think that would be a very good match, because when Triple H wants to, when he's in shape, he's a very good worker. And Daniel Bryan, we all know Daniel Bryan is a technician. But they could tell a very good story. That would be my second must-want match, I must admit. There's so many options. I know I personally would love to see Daniel Bryan HBK go, but we know that's not going to happen. HBK coming back, we might as well kill that shit dead. But you can tell so many. He can have potentially, I think I'm naming 8 matches that you could potentially have with 8 different opponents. But for me, this is the #1 match for the WWE title, because I think he deserves his WrestleMania moment for all his hard work. And I think with Brock, I think they could tell a beautiful, fantastic David and Goliath story, that kind of last war between you and the title type of story. And yeah, you could say it'd be a mismatch, but to be honest with you, Daniel Bryan against anybody is a mismatch if you look at it just on face value. But he makes you believe it's the underdog story you're trying to tell. And what a beautiful, beautiful accumulation story if you were to have that finally end at WrestleMania. You know, you could tell a really good story with that. I really think you could tell a good story. Um, so I mean, I just wanted to get that off my chest. It was just a quick video. I read a wrestling comment. I don't often read like dirt sheets and wrestling comments and things like that. Cause I don't like stuff that skews my own thinking. Um, but I have to admit, I did read the comment and it did kind of argue for this match. And I've been saying this for a while, so I'm glad to see that somebody else agrees. So yes, I would like to see Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. That would be my WrestleMania wish. WWE, make it the fuck happen. Alright.